Hi, my name's Ben. I work for the Game House, and today we're going to be looking at some pros and cons of an Aaron Rodgers trade to the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, we're just going to jump right into it, and I am going to say right now this is a pro and cons list for Aaron Rodgers, not the Packers. We'll do that at a later date, and I will be releasing other videos with other potential pro and con trade scenarios, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, so the first pro, which we could write down three or four times in a row, is Davante Adams. Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers have a connection in the NFL unlike most we've ever seen. We're talking Montana to Rice level of a connection. Aaron Rodgers with Davante Adams has won MVP twice. Davante Adams has hundreds and hundreds of catches, thousands of yards, so many touchdowns. The connection these two have cannot be overstated. When you're talking about a wide receiver one and a team's ability to defend a wide receiver one, when we're talking about Rodgers with Adams, there is no real defense to it besides bracketing him and hoping no one else pops open. Adams, if you give Rodgers enough time, will read Rodgers and get open. It's just a given. These two will pick up right where they left off, I have no doubt, if they are on the same team again. So that's the biggest pro, listed 4 to 5 times. Head coach Josh McDaniels. Now, his first stint as a head coach with the Broncos was awful. They do have a playoff win, but it wasn't overtime. But he does have a winning pedigree. He obviously came from New England, where he has multiple rings, and he is an offensive head coach, and that's something that Aaron Rodgers should be looking for as the league pivots more and more offense. I'm not sure how their personalities are going to mesh, but when you're trying to win games, both of them can figure it out, right? If the Raiders trade for Aaron Rodgers, can they find a way to keep Josh Jacobs? Now, Josh Jacobs, the Raiders famously declined his 5th-year option, and Jacobs had a career year. So now he can be a free agent and sign with anyone he pleases if he feels like he was disrespected by the Raiders. But he might want to re-sign if Aaron Rodgers is brought on board. That's huge. A good running game is essential to what Aaron Rodgers does now, because you have to take the pressure off of his arm to allow Rodgers to do great things. That wasn't so much the case in the past with prime Rodgers, but now that he's approaching 40, you need a balanced attack, and Josh Jacobs can give you that. Will Josh Jacobs sign if they bring in Aaron Rodgers? Big question. Could be a huge pro. Along with Davante Adams, you have two other great weapons. Darren Waller, who is an all-star tight end, plays like a wide receiver, blocks like a tight end, and you have Hunter Renfrow, who could be an excellent slot guy, or if you want him to try and run past people, or play on the other side of Davante Adams to either act as a foil to the defense, or maybe even as a distraction, that could work too. A great slot receiver is something that Aaron Rodgers can utilize in this point of his career as his arm strength dies down just a little bit. Nothing huge, but it's a great threat to have. And like I said, Darren Waller is not only locked up, but he is great if he stays healthy. Okay, so despite having lots and lots and lots of dead money tied up in players that didn't work out for one reason or another, we're not going to go into that. The Raiders still have the 3rd most cap space in the league. Now, that's big because they're going to have to give up picks to grab Aaron Rodgers. And what you would do with those picks is try and build a team around him. Now they don't have to do that. Aaron Rodgers likes veterans. We could see a LeBron James sort of situation happen here, where you bring in lots of veterans that Rodgers feels like he wants to play with to bolster this team. So cap space is huge here. The offense is designed for someone like Rodgers. Now, Derek Carr, I wouldn't call Aaron Rodgers by any stretch of the imagination, but you can see some similarities there. Now, Derek Carr was released, and that clears up a lot of cap space, like I just said, but Carr and Rodgers at this point in Rodgers' career can play similar games. I don't think the playbook would have to be switched up too much. You would just get better production. Now, I think this is the best place for Aaron Rodgers to win MVP. He already won 2 MVPs with Davante Adams, and if you add in a great tight end like Waller and then some other weapons around him, I think this might spell another MVP for Aaron. to get to 5 to tie Peyton Manning. If that's something he's really interested in, is tying Peyton Manning, this is the best place to do it. He already knows he can do this with Adams. So protect him, give him some time. He might win it. And then we'll talk about this more in the cons section, but he will be playing in the AFC West. If he manages to dethrone Patrick Mahomes in the AFC West, that's a win in and of itself. That's an accomplishment, and that needs to be celebrated. Will it translate over in the playoffs? No one really knows, because this is all hypothetical. But if they manage to take the AFC West crown away from Patrick Mahomes and prove to everybody in the league, yeah, you're all crowning this guy, but I'm the blueprint. I'm the guy who's historically been more talented. That's a big pro. Okay, so the cons list is kind of short, but all of them are pretty glaring. The offensive line isn't great. The offensive line ranks near the bottom, and they would really have to work on that because Aaron Rodgers isn't as mobile as he used to be, pushing 40. You're going to have to protect him, and then maybe get some great running lanes for Josh Jacobs, which Aaron Rodgers will be crossing his fingers that Josh Jacobs stays. And the defense is bad. The defense is bad, and it's hard to improve a defense over multiple years without any draft picks, without any high draft picks, which the Raiders will be giving up to get Aaron Rodgers in this scenario. Again, they have cap space, so they could sort of patch that hole with free agency, but Aaron's going to want some more stuff around him on the offensive side of the ball, so you're not going to be able to fix the defense in just one swoop. The Super Bowl chances for the Raiders, if Aaron Rodgers is traded there, will be dependent on him and him alone. It will be on maybe Josh McDaniels a little bit, but mostly Aaron Rodgers. If he plays badly, they're not going anywhere. If he plays well, they have a real shot to reach at least the AFC Championship game if the defense holds up. That's a lot of pressure for Aaron, and at this point in his career, I think he wants to be celebrated for all the great things he's done, and I do think he really wants another Super Bowl, but it's going to be on his shoulders. The entire franchise will, especially given that they're going to give up so much for him. And then, I mentioned these in the last video, you got fewer high draft picks. Hard to build a team. I already mentioned that a couple times. And you won't finish your career in Green Bay. That's something he said he wants to do. But those two cons are there for any team he goes to. So yeah, that's just a small look at what the thinking process should be for Aaron Rodgers joining the Raiders if he does accept a trade. But yeah, I'll do this for another team. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned to the Game House.